Okay, what makes a 400-year-old book the best-selling novel of all time? Seriously. Today, we're diving deep into Miguel de Cervantes' absolute masterpiece, Don Quixote, to figure out the secret behind its incredible, centuries-long success. Just think about that for a second. How does a book from the 1600s not only stick around, but outsell pretty much every other novel ever written? Well, the answer starts with one almost unbelievable number. Over 500 million copies. Let that just sink in for a moment. That's a number so huge it makes Don Quixote more than just a classic. It's a true literary landmark. In fact, you heard that right. That number officially makes it the best-selling novel in history, period. So what is this story that has had the world hooked for literally hundreds of years? Well, the whole journey kicked off way back in 1605 when Part 1 came out. Part 2 followed a decade later, and its path from 17th century Spain to our world today has been, well, nothing short of extraordinary. But a book doesn't sell 500 million copies just because it's old. Its success is all about its hero. The story revolves around a man whose name has basically become shorthand for dreaming the impossible dream. It all starts with this guy, Alonso Quijano. He's a pretty ordinary, aging gentleman from a region in Spain called La Mancha, and he has one single obsession: reading these epic tales of chivalry. Stories packed with knights, big quests, and damsels in distress. And this obsession, it kind of takes over. After reading so many of these stories, his grip on reality just slips. He renames himself the much grander Don Quixote de la Mancha and decides that he too is going to become a wandering knight, roaming the countryside and righting all the wrongs of the world. But hey, every knight needs a squire, right? And this is where we meet one of literature's all-time greatest pairings. Don Quixote, the total idealist lost in his fantasy, recruits a super practical farmer named Sancho Panza. While Quixote is chasing glory, Sancho's just in it for the promise of getting his own island to govern. They are the original odd couple, the dreamer and the realist. And their adventures lead them to what is, no exaggeration, one of the most famous scenes in all of literature. It's an encounter that just perfectly captures the entire heart and soul of the story. This is the million-dollar question. Don Quixote, deep in his delusion, sees a field of huge, menacing giants. Sancho Panza, on the other hand, well, he sees what's actually there, a bunch of windmills. And ignoring all of Sancho's warnings, Quixote charges. This one single act of tilting at windmills became this timeless metaphor for that clash between our own wild imagination and the cold, hard facts of reality. But here's the thing. Don Quixote is so much more than just a string of funny screw-ups. Cervantes was doing something totally revolutionary here. He was using this so-called madness to explore some of the deepest questions about what it means to be human. And the themes he was digging into feel so incredibly modern. I mean, on the surface, sure, he was making fun of the popular knight stories of his day. But underneath all that, he was asking these timeless questions about reality versus illusion, the blurry line between madness and sanity, and the incredible power of human idealism. This is exactly why people call it the first modern novel. Before Cervantes, heroes were just heroes. They were flat. But Don Quixote and Sancho, they have doubts, they have flaws, they have really complex motivations. They feel real. Cervantes gave his characters an inner life, and in doing so, he changed literature forever. And the book's influence didn't just stay on the library shelf. It spilled right out into our everyday culture, and it even changed the very words we use. So if you've ever heard or used the word quixotic, well, you've got this book to thank for it. It means being incredibly idealistic, chasing a dream that seems totally impractical or even a little foolish. An entire human trait defined by a single character. Amazing. When you look at the total impact, it's just staggering. As we've seen, it's the all-time bestseller, but it's also been translated into over 140 languages, influencing countless writers from Tolstoy to Mark Twain, and of course, it gave us the word quixotic to keep forever. Any one of those would be a huge legacy. Ultimately, the real reason this 400-year-old story still matters so much is because at its core, it's our story. It perfectly captures that eternal conflict we all feel inside, that tension between the world we wish existed and the world that actually does. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to chew on. In a world that can feel pretty cynical and harsh, is that quixotic impulse, that little bit of madness that makes us chase impossible dreams, is that really a weakness? Or could it actually be our greatest strength?